What's going on, guys? Danny here from Metal Couch, bringing you an album review. Today we're going to be talking about Diocletian's Gesundrian. Now, Diocletian is a band from New Zealand, and this is the first album that I've listened to. It popped up on my radar because it's a recent release, released back in May, a little bit after my birthday. So I figured, hey, let's give it a listen. I have never heard of these guys before. What are they like? I love it whenever I do albums like this, where I just randomly find something, and then when you really discover something great, you get a really good feeling and you want to go back and hit up their back catalog. That's how I felt after listening to this album. This album is a nice blend between black and death metal. There are black metal elements, but overall it has a little bit more of a death metal feel to it. Now, honestly, going in, I had no idea what to expect production-wise, but the production is extremely solid. With black metal, sometimes you can get production that, even though it was released in the 2000s, it could sound like a really, really bad cassette tape quality. You won't find that here. This is a very, very well done production. Quality is excellent. So, moving into some of the songs, you start out with Cleaved Asunder, which is a largely, mostly instrumental track. I can't really remember if there are any lyrics or vocals in this song. The primary, it's very slow moving. It reminds me a lot of when I listened to Obliteration, where I had that first track and it was extremely slow, nothing was really going on, except this one kind of sets a tone. You hear people clanging metal weapons back and forth, along with guitars kind of just slowly moving along. It's a song that if they were to be playing it live, it's to help get the crowd hyped up at the beginning of the show. And then you get something, starting with track 2, Wretched Sons, that I really, really like about some albums. This album flows great. It flows in between songs almost to the point where you don't even really notice it. And I love it whenever albums do that. So going through Wretched Sons, Summoning Fear, and Traitor's Gallow, you have those three right there which are pretty continuous. They never really stop or give you a break in between the songs, and they blend together quite well. Probably out of those three tracks right there, Summoning Fear, if you're interested in this album, I highly recommend listening to that. And then you get into Steel Jaws, Wolf Against Serpent, which are okay tracks, nothing really as good as the previous three, but still nothing too distracting to take you away from the album. And then you could probably get the album's highlight track, Beast Atop the Trapezoid. It is also the longest track off of the album, and probably my favorite track from the album itself. A very well done piece of music. I enjoyed listening to every second of that song because it is fucking intense. And then you end the album with Zealot's Poison. Now, runtime of this album, it did kind of put me off at first because, unlike Origin, when you're dealing with Black Death, a roughly 35-minute runtime can sometimes be like, oh, is there going to be enough material here to really give a decent review of an album? You know what I mean? Sometimes songs can feel too short or too long in some instances. I was afraid that looking at some of these track times that they would be too short, but no, it's perfect runtime. 35 minutes of an all-out sonic assault from some Kiwis. If I had to give this album a grade out of 10, I would probably give it an 8 out of 10. This is a very solid release and very close to being a candidate for Album of the Year for me. Especially after listening to some albums that have come out this summer, it's nice to know that there are some things that I have not yet discovered, and here's a band called Diocletian from New Zealand. Popped up on my radar, and 8 out of 10. So I'm going to go back through their back catalog and have a listen. So definitely check out this album. I think you guys would enjoy it. Danny here from Metal Couch, signing out.